Books where he is obsessed with her, non-human edition. He only has to lay eyes on her and he's immediately calling her his wife in his head because she hasn't met him yet. We immediately understand this man's level of obsession with her, and it only grows. He is a Viking king, she is a thrall, and that isn't going to stop him from making her his queen. It's fun. The spice is crazy. They are both Virginias, but you wouldn't know it. And God help anyone who has treated her poorly because he will take revenge. This is another one where he comes across her well before she's aware of him. It is when she's a child, but it's not creepy. I promise. He checks in on her throughout the years until she reaches a certain age, and then he disappears completely. She leaves the village to search for her kidnapped sister. She ends up working in his club by coincidence, and he obviously knows who she is, and he's in some weird kinky shit. He obviously continues to stalk her now, and when she takes someone home with her one night that is not him, he creeps in through her window, gets rid of him, and gets into bed. This is a completed duet, and the cliffhanger on book 1 is brutal. They hate each other, and I mean hate. There are actual attempts on each other's lives multiple times. In this world, there are a small faction of elite families, and they are all patrons to a certain god, and they are then have to give sacrifices to that god. He is next in line to be the head of the families. She interrupts the ritual, and now they have to share the ruling together. They're now forced to work together, to live together. The spice and just the weird interactions between these two is just insane. The level of passion is just crazy. And even right up to the very end, you are questioning, should these two be together? But the whole time, he is so obsessed with her, even when he doesn't want to be, even when he thinks it's because he hates her. It's obviously not. It's almost like stalking is the theme of the day, but this next book also includes some stalking. She is a succubus out for revenge. Lovely. He is a vampire who is out to hunt her and stop her from doing what she's been doing, having the forbidden nom-noms. He is obsessed from the get-go, even though he knows she's dangerous, she could really hurt him. He's kind of into it. There are heavy, heavy triggers in this duet, so just be mindful of that. Things do get pretty crazy and very dark, so just tread lightly if that's an issue for you. Their chemistry is violent, it's electric, and even though this is a pretty fast-burn book, lots of action, it still manages to be really emotional as well. So yeah, I just loved it. Love this duet so much. When I say I had the best time reading this book, I am not exaggerating. I know I've loved a book when I've highlighted multiple sections, and that was me with this book. It was hilarious. This is kind of a little bit typical of how most of the alien sci-fi romances start. So she's kidnapped by some aliens, they crash land on another planet, and there are these other guys here. These guys have never seen women before. They don't know what they are. So this has some great teaching moments. She has to tell him about the birds and the bees and where everything goes. We get some fun primal chasing in the woods and the jungle. And if I remember correctly, I'm sure there's something about jars of his offerings left outside of a hut. I'm sure that was a thing in this book. Correct me if I'm wrong, anyone else who's read it, but I'm pretty sure that was this one. It's just really sweet and wholesome and fun, but also spicy. So enjoy. And from sweet and spicy to what the fuck is that? This is for my Somno girlies. If you don't know about Somno, don't ask me. And definitely don't read this book. But yeah, all jokes aside, trigger warnings galore. He is like an experimented on kind of half bit of monster of everything. He's got some vampire in there, some gargoyle, I think. Pretty sure he's got some tentacle appendage going on. Anyway, he sees the FMC for the first time. She works in a diner. He decides to like break into her house a bunch of times and like put stuff in her tea to make her sleep. You get my drift. It was weird, but I kind of couldn't put it down, and so yeah, I guess. And back to the stalking. This is another really sweet one. I absolutely ate this book up. He is a reclusive vampire. He hasn't been feeding off humans for, I think, like a couple of 100 years. Or something like that. He decides to sign up to an agency where he can get a live donor to come to his house for feedings. She is, I believe she was a nurse. She signs up to make some extra money, and so the first time she comes around, he is just absolutely smitten. He is just the sweetest, most patient, understanding. He just wants to spend as much time with her as possible. And just to make sure that she's safe, he follows her home and to work a few times. He does like some courting of her, which is like super sweet and adorable. There are some like kinky stuff in here as well. We get some role play, we get some CNC, which I think was handled very beautifully in this. These are both quite mature characters, and they have great communication with each other, so I adored that. This is technically book 2 of a series. The first one is Cold Hearted, but they are completely different. You don't have to have read the first book to read the second book. Completely separate characters, a different setting. But I also loved Cold Hearted, so if you want to read that, just also do that as well. So that was my list. I hope you find something in there that is of interest, and I will be posting some more.